What's up, guys? Jades Corner back here again for yet another episode of my Fantasy Fight series. And today's video is episode 52, Scott McCall versus the Alpha Pack. Now, I announced this earlier this week when I dropped the Howen versus the Beast of Jabuden video, which is doing really fucking good right now. It's almost at 300 views, and it's only been out for a day. And it's probably the best video that's been performing so far on my channel for like a while now. It's like my best performing video right now. So, yeah, Fantasy Fights is definitely getting the channel back on its feet right now, along with some of the minor Teen Wolf content I do here and there. But, you know, Fantasy Fights has been my bread and butter since like September, and it's been the main factor as to why my channel has been growing so fast. And why I'm almost at 4,000 subs. So yeah, with Fantasy Fights back now, the channel's coming back slowly but surely at full swing, and yeah, we here. So today we got epic matchup. Now, before we get into the match, I gotta let you guys know about 68% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you could please subscribe to the channel and help us reach our goal of getting to 4,000 subscribers before the end of the summer, that would be greatly appreciated. We are so close. We are about 370 subscribers away from hitting 4K. So if you guys could please help me reach that goal, that'd be greatly appreciated. Now, first in the matchup, I want to talk about the Alpha Pack, because I feel like it would be easier to talk about them first rather than talking about Scott, because I've gone over Scott's been in like at least like 20 of these videos. So I'm really just going to talk about who would win and how I think this fight would go, since it's kind of redundant to talk about the same character over and over and over again, giving his origin and his powers for 20 different videos. So if you guys have been keeping up with all the Fantasy Fights, you should know how Scott's powers work, and you should know how the Alpha Pack's powers work too, because I did a Klaus Michelson versus Alpha Pack video a few months ago, which is doing really well. I think it's like the third most successful Fantasy Fight video I ever put out. It has like almost 7,000 views. So yeah, yeah, go watch that video after this. But yeah, so I think that the Alpha Pack is winning this, but I do think that Scott McCall would probably hold his own a little bit of the time. So I think that Scott could fairly easily take out Ennis, especially end of the series Scott. I think we could all agree that Ennis would probably lose to Scott. Now, where Scott starts to have a challenge in this fight is probably Ethan and Aiden when they're merged. If he's fighting against Ethan and Aiden when they're non-merged, or he could stop Ethan and Aiden, Ethan and Aiden before they merge together into their fused form, then, and we've seen that True Alpha Scott is already stronger than Ethan and Aiden anyway, even without them being alphas, because we saw that Scott literally threw, who was it, Ethan or Aiden? He threw one of them so far, and they literally got knocked, and one of them got knocked out when they hit that, I think it was that cabinet Scott threw him into, like literally with one swing of Scott's arm throwing him. So yeah, Scott is no joke as an alpha. He's pretty strong, even though the series tends to not display it half the time. But yes, despite what most of the community will tell you, Scott is a very strong alpha, and we've seen this on the show be true, because the Beast of Jabuden has even commented and said that Scott is a very strong werewolf. So yeah, I think Scott could beat Ethan and Aiden pretty easily, with no problem. Probably a little bit of difficulty, but not really when they're non-merged. But when they're merged, that's a little bit of a problem, because yeah, we've seen that these dudes, when they're merged, they're damn near unstoppable. They have never lost a fight, aside from, you know, them damn near almost losing all their powers on the Lunar Eclipse versus Jennifer Blake, which was some bullshit. But you know, Team Wolf for you. Not really explaining shit that well, and then leaving the fans like me and Crow to explain things for a majority of the community. So yeah, people think Ethan and Aiden lost that fight, and they thought that they were weaker than Jennifer Blake, when that's not the case. The effects of the Lunar Eclipse were already kicking in. It's just that the Lunar Eclipse didn't reach its peak yet, so all of their powers weren't completely gone, and they weren't completely helpless yet. So yeah, definitely think that Scott would probably hold his own for a little bit, you know, since he fought the Beast of Jabuden for an extended period of time, and the Beast of Jabuden is way stronger than Ethan and Aiden merged. So I think that Scott could hold his own against merged Ethan and Aiden as an alpha, especially later series Scott, which I think is going to be the Scott we're mainly going to use as reference in this video, which is like season 6 and above Scott. So yeah, Scott could definitely hold his own against Ethan and Aiden. I think he could probably use his intelligence, because when Ethan and Aiden are merged, they're kind of dumb. They're kind of just like based on pure brute strength. They mainly use pure brute strength to beat their enemies. They don't really use their heads as much as they do when they're non-merged. So I think that Scott, him being smarter than Ethan and Aiden when they merge, and him, just using his environment, kind of like how Derek does sometimes to fight, I think that he could find a way to somewhat come on top of Ethan and Aiden merge, but that's up for debate depending on how you guys feel in the comment section about that. So I'm going to leave that up to subscriber interpretation. Now, Scott versus Kali, I'd say Scott loses that because Kali is a way better fighter than Scott, and she's naturally stronger, being augmented. So yeah, I think that Scott definitely loses that one-on-one fight for sure. Like, if Derek couldn't beat her one-on-one, Scott's not going to either. The only way I could realistically see Scott somewhat overpowering Kali is with pure brute strength, because Scott uses his pure power and brute strength to overpower his enemies anyway, because he knows he's not that great of a fighter, at least with technical skill and hand-to-hand combat, as compared to somebody like a Derek or a Kali. He kind of fights like a Deucalion or Sebastian Vallet. So yeah, definitely think Scott would lose one-on-one to Kali, but he could probably, I would say it would probably be the same situation as Ethan and Aiden. He could probably use his head to come up with a way to outsmart her, because Kali is smart, but she's not the smartest character in Teen Wolf. And we've seen Scott come up with some like high IQ plans before, such as when he tricked Gerard in season 2 into eating his putting the mistletoe in his pills, and then making Gerard extremely sick. So we've seen Scott have some big brain moments, but it all depends on him and how he approaches the fight, to be honest. So yeah, Scott could win, but I'd most likely see him losing this. So yeah, and then Deucalion, that's not even a question. Deucalion absolutely destroys Alpha Scott. I don't think anybody should have an argument with that. Deucalion, if he's in his full power form, which I'm thinking he's probably going to be in this fight, Scott gets murked, 0 difficulty. We've seen that Deucalion is usually the second strongest alpha on the show, and that's very apparent. Even though we've only seen Deucalion fight in this full powered state for a short amount of time, and when he fought in his full powered state, he wasn't even at his strongest, because it was also during the night of a lunar eclipse in the season 3 mid-season finale. So yeah, we've never actually technically seen Deucalion fight at full strength since he had a drawback when he entered his full power form. So yeah, Deucalion is even stronger than what we saw when he fought Jennifer Blake, Derek Hale, and Scott McCall in Lunar Eclipse. So yeah, Deucalion murked Scott 0 diff, and that's how I think this fight would go. I think that Scott would lose. He would not be able to take out the entire pack, but he would probably be able to take out some of the weaker members, such as Ennis and Ethan and Aiden non-merged. But I think that Ethan and Aiden merged, if Scott's not fighting intelligently, and which he does for most of the time in a majority of the fights we see him fight in, he usually uses his head to outsmart his opponents that are usually stronger than him, such as what can I recall? I don't want to say Liam's stronger than Scott, but in the instance of their fight and with the context of how that fight played out, Liam was technically, and that's extreme heavy air quotes, technically stronger than Scott in that fight, because Scott was severely handicapped, having like literally weeks upon weeks of fucking supply of Wolfsbane in his body. So yeah, he was really weakened when he fought Liam. So that's probably the first example I would go to, but it's probably not the best example, because people are going to be like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. When I've literally proved over and over again on this channel, I don't know how many goddamn times people tried to come after me with my Teen Wolf facts, and I proved them wrong every time. So yeah, that's how I see the fight going realistically. But yeah, that's how I think this fight would go. I think the Alpha Pack come on top in this, but Scott does fairly decent against some of the members. So if you guys like this video, make sure you guys leave a like. Also comment down below who you guys think would win, Scott McCall or the Alpha Pack. Also subscribe to the channel as mentioned at the beginning of the video. Help us reach our goal of 4,000 subscribers before the end of the summer. We are so close to hitting that goal. We are actually closer than I thought we were going to be. And then you could help us, if you're just watching this video months from now, you could help us reach our goal of hopefully 5,000 subscribers or 6,000, depending on how fast we grow the channel before the end of the year. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. this was a fun little video to make. This was a match I had planned for a while. Kind of just planned it in my head. Wasn't really a subscriber request. I was just curious to see how this fight would play out according to me. And yeah, I think that the way I described this, I think how the fight would go down realistically. And yeah, that's my opinion on this fight. So yeah, Jade's Corner here. Catch you guys in the next video. Probably going to post 2 more fantasy fights next week. Have no clue what the matchups are, but everybody and their grandmother has been requesting for Kate Argent versus Kali. So that's probably going to be the next match. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces. Have a great rest of your day.